Alright, here we go. We're talking about the World 600 here in this video. Now, first and foremost, let's talk over some things regarding this season, and then let's talk over some things regarding last year's World 600, and then we can dive into this weekend's preview for the Coca-Cola 600. So, real fast, I didn't bother watching the All-Star race. I was out of town. I have no desire to go back to watch until we go to some short track that I figure we might be able to use that for. But I said it would suck ass. Apparently it did. I didn't really pay attention. Fantastic. Good job, crew chiefs, for not pinning. A bunch of morons. Secondly, guys, this is it. We have gone through the best part of the season. We will not have true fun. We will not have true enjoyment. We won't have good racing until September. So just keep that in mind going forward. Month of June, July, August, bit of a wash. I will see you guys for real good racing at Darlington in September. Third thing, real fast, related to seriously, like, come on, guys. We got Gateway, Sonoma. Okay, Nashville's fun. Chicago's a joke. Atlanta's a joke. Loudon is the worst track on the circuit. You know, look, I've said it once. I'll say it again. Adam Petty knew what he was getting into when he was on that track, and he said, "Nah, Chief, I'm out." Threw it right in the fence. Didn't like it. Then we got Pocono, Richmond, Michigan, Indianapolis, Watkins Glen, Daytona. I mean, look, we don't got a real race until September. Anyway, going back to looking at this race last year, we need to pay attention because, at least where I stand, last year's Coca-Cola 600 was a really, really weird race. It could be a lot of different factors here. The fact that we had the new next-gen car, the fact that qualifying was in drastically different conditions, the fact that it was so long and the transition between night and day was so different for so many different cars, the fact that we had 97 yellows, the fact that we flipped a car over, the fact that a lot of things that led into Coca-Cola 600 last year, for whatever reason, did not work. Like, this was such an anomaly. If you remember last year, everybody, including myself, we were on Denny Hamlin. Qualified first, started first, had enough data supported to show up, related to how fast he ran at Dover, where he got wrecked by Cody Ware and ended up not finishing well, related to how he ran at Darlington and ended up getting involved in a wreck and things and so forth. Like, we had a lot of data supporting that Denny Hamlin going into this race was the end-all be-all, and that the Hendrick cars would be right behind him, and that the Toyotas would be there. Very similar to this year's event. It happens. We were absolutely all wrong. Everybody else who came back last year, I remember, coming back off the race, they're like, "I told you, bet Denny Hamlin plus 222 or whatever. I told you he wasn't going to lose." That was a fucking miss. We all missed because we all project Denny Hamlin to run away with the race, lead, over 100 laps and so on and so forth, and kill the field. He fucking loses the lead real stupid fast, and somehow pulls out the win, 13 laps into overtime. Absolutely wild event. Kyle Busch only leads 36 laps. Chase Briscoe leads 2. Reddick leads 19. Kyle Larson leads 51. Ross Chastain, who was the primary leader in this race, only led 153 laps and then got taken out late in the race and ends up finishing 15th. We have only 19 people finish this race. Everybody else DNFs, including 2 lap leaders. Daniel Suarez with 36 laps when he got involved in the wreck, including that happened with Chase Briscoe. And Chase Elliott, who led 86 laps and was also involved in a wreck. Shout out to Austin Dillon, who was going to win this race for the second time in his career, and then he just wrecks the field out of 4 and finishes 22nd. This was a wild race. The reason I'm saying this is, and you can look at this in 2 different ways, of 1, this is how the race is going to be, Brandon, or 2, remove this from your input, which I would just do that. Okay, if we're looking at how people ran, I believe, was this the year? No, that was the year before when I think Larson blew the motor, yeah. Getting my 2 Coca-Cola 600 mixed up in my mind. Anyway, long story short, I'm removing that just for my inputs this weekend. I am leaning on everything else that I've looked at regarding data, regarding our past 3 intermediate tracks. That's just how it's going to be. You might look at this and see, man, this lines up a lot with the short track stuff and how people are going. Are you sure you're not looking at recent data? No, I'm not. I mean, yes, I am, but no, I'm not. I'm not looking at short tracks. Not looking at anything else. I'm looking at the 3 races that we have recently done that leans to be the most viable, in my opinion, to pull data from. Okay, and that is Dover, that is Kansas, and that is Darlington. Specifically, Dover. I think there really is a good 1-to-1 ratio between Dover and Charlotte, as we have seen more and more throughout the years. Now, yes, we're going to keep looking at Kansas. We're going to keep looking at Darlington. But I wanted to get that out of the way. This is it. Last fun time building lineups until September. Either way, I'm going to be here for the whole rest of the month. Speaking of that, my birthday's coming up on the 29th. If you guys want to join the Patreon, if you guys want to support me through Super Chats on the live show, if you want to send me anything through the PayPal link description below for my birthday, for my trip. Secondly, not very much of I'm not trying to like guilt trip you and stuff, but a recent family member of mine was diagnosed with a pretty severe cancer. Given months to live, so I got a lot of flights. Most likely another funeral to go to coming up shortly. I'm gonna be out of town and flying a lot, so if I'm not able to do a lot of live shows, that's why. Just saying, if you want to support me in any form or fashion, so I can buy tickets for flights and shit like that, feel free to donate. So let's go ahead and look right into. Hi. This is me being done recording, realizing that I had my mic muted after all this talk here. So I am having this whole discussion here. So sorry for the late upload. Having to splice this stupid thing together takes forever to render. Whatever the case may be, let's talk about the Coca-Cola 600 based on looking at how these people ran at Dover, Kansas, and Darlington. Now, you're going to see 2 things here. One, why don't I have any numbers here? Like, I don't have their rating or rank or anything like that. And 2, why is Darlington lowercase and these guys are all capital? Don't worry about that. That's our little secret. Don't worry about it. So this is how I rank drivers just in general. I normally do this in the background and then just bring this into the video really quickly and real short because a lot of people just don't enjoy hearing all the fucking ins and outs and bullshit like that. But it's basically the race rating based or adjusted and added to with what the running position is. I have pit data in this as well, but basically this is ranking everybody by how they were in the race, if they were the best car, second best car, so on and so forth. Now, obviously, like clear examples, like Kyle Larson being ranked, 28th here at Dover, well, because he got taken out by Ross Chastain. Of course, he's not going to be, like, there's no data point that's going to push him up here. But we can all understand that Larson had a really, really good car in traffic and most likely had the best car at Dover and just ended up getting crashed by Ross Chastain. Even if he didn't have the best car, he most certainly had a top 5 car, and we would most likely see him up here. So keep that in mind. This isn't, doing all that stuff or like I'm not making up things of like, I'm just going to end up putting Larson up here. No, this is just all the data points like pointing to, based on where he was, Larson was the 29th best or 28th best car at Dover, so on and so forth. But as we look at this for the Coca-Cola 600, let's go through and pinpoint our early lap leaders. And this is more so discussing people who should be fast off the trailer, who should be fast in practice, who should be fast in the race through different transitions, and so on and so forth. So whatever the case may be, let's go through. Who pops off right off the bat? Who do we see right off the bat being here? Well, it's William Byron. There is a really good chance that William Byron is going to be a contender for laps led. Like I said before, this isn't based on recency. This isn't based on, looking at short tracks. It's just based on the intermediate tracks that we've been at so far this year. And so you can see that Byron was the best car at Dover. He was the best car at Darlington and the 11th best car at Kansas. Okay, and as I said, this is including, drastically or a vast amount of different data points. But this is just what I end up looking at on a daily basis, okay? So past that, who else are we looking at? Well, I'm going to bring up Kyle Larson here. And I'm going to use red to have him highlighted just so we can see him. That isn't like, fade Larson or anything. I'm just using this as different color coordination so we can see where each driver is. And then we'll talk more and more as we go through this. Let me make sure I'm actually recording with my mic. Yes, I am, so I don't go through this again and miss it. I'm going to get through the first 4 guys here, and then we'll discuss other things and show this as an indication of why I do this. And also, this isn't including fast laps or DraftKings points, although you will see those follow these individuals. This is just how I end up ranking people. So the next driver here is Ross Chastain. Okay, so we have Ross Chastain here. I'm going to have him be orange, and then we'll have MTJ be blue, and we'll kind of discuss these guys really fast. And so these are your 4 big kahunas, 4 big boys, okay? And let's quickly go on through and kind of look at them based on a DraftKings salary at this point. As I said, I didn't bring DraftKings salaries into this or anything like that, but look, we're very much in line with where DraftKings is viewing these guys. We have William Byron, as I would look at probably the favorite entering this race, along with probably Chastain being the second favorite, and then Truex being the third, or you could have Truex be the second, whatever the case may be. But William Byron is 10.5. We have Kyle Larson at 11,000. We have Ross Chastain at 10.1, and we have Martin Truex Jr. at $9,900 this weekend, which in my opinion is a mispricing. He is underpriced. When you look at how consistent this man has been, the fact that he is a top 5 driver in each of these intermediate races, the fact that he is right here, and you can look specifically at him compared to the other drivers, including his teammate, which we'll talk about in a second. Like, honestly, Truex Jr. should probably be the 3rd or 2nd most expensive driver, in my opinion, just based on the consistency and the safety net that he has been consistently showing you. If you look so far, you are viewing the fact that we are most likely and usually having, I believe Hamlin is moved. Yeah, so if we start include, let me just throw Hamlin here real fast. I was going to wait, but I don't got time for that. I'm going to use purple for him. If you look at the fact that on just these 3 races, we got a 33% chance that one of these 5 drivers will probably finish outside the top 10 due to a wreck, due to bad call-in strategy, whatever the case may be. But for the most part, in terms of consistency, Ross Chastain and Truex have been your most consistent drivers. Now, these aren't necessarily finishes, but this is where they are in terms of speed, in terms of where they're at. And Truex has been able to, be a part of just the finishing order and all these things. Anyway, let's talk about DraftKings stuff really fast. As I said, this isn't factoring into these data points, but let's just take a gander and look real fast. So when we look at William Byron, we look at him at Dover, 22 fast laps, 7 laps led. Couldn't necessarily get the lead a ton, but maintain a run position in the top 4 at Kansas, 17 fast laps, 10 laps led. I'm just going to do this for these first 5 guys, and then I'm not going to do it anymore because it'll be redundant when I'm explaining basically why I do the rankings like this, not necessarily numerical numbers and things like that. We look at Kansas, 17 fast laps, 10 laps led by William Byron. We look at Dover, 57 fast laps, 193 laps led. We then go to Kyle Larson, which is this is where you want to pay attention to where guys are like running like deep in the pack and stuff like that. So we have Darlington, 20 fast laps, 29 laps led. Kansas, 30 fast laps, 85 laps led. Dover, 11 fast laps in traffic, by the way, like deep into traffic. The fact that Larson was not only able to get fast laps in such a short period of time before he was taken out, but the fact that he was able to get through the field very quickly, very easily is huge, okay? Dirty Air plays a huge role in at Charlotte. And for me, a 1-to-1 track is Dover. That's just how I look at it. The fact that Larson is able to get fast laps and get through the field at Dover is huge. Like, that is just, you need to see that. And then not only does he do that at Dover, he then doubles down on it and does it next week at Kansas. Like, what more do we need to see that Byron and Larson are really, really good? Like, come on, why are we not playing more of them? Like, whatever. Like, come on, boys, what are we doing? We look at Chastain, okay, who has been very consistent in the intermediate package these last 3 races. Darlington, 31 fast laps, 93 laps led. 5 fast laps at Kansas, 3 laps led. Dover, 41 fast laps, 98 laps led. And then we get to, as I said, probably the most consistent guy this last month. Darlington, 65 laps led for Truex, or 65 fast laps for Truex, 145 laps led. Kansas, 30 laps led, 30 fast laps, 79 laps led. Dover, 33 fast laps, 68 laps led. If you want to talk about cash, if you want to talk about safety, if you want to talk about a consistent driver, it is Martin Truex Jr. All right? All right. We look at Hamlin as well because he's in here. We look at Darlington, 10 fast laps, 9 laps led. Kansas, 44 fast laps, 34 laps led. Dover, 27 fast laps, 4 laps led. So if you're making projections, if you're looking at these drivers, you can all project them to get fast laps and laps led. That's how it has to be. Okay? Now, the reason I'm doing it like this is to show you who, as I said, the drivers are in terms of speed that you should be targeting, the drivers in terms of what they should be able to show throughout the race, and yada, yada, yada. Okay? So it's not just me being like, no, play the same guys each and every week. I mean, it is me saying that, but this is why I'm telling you that. Okay? We have a ton of data to support that. Okay? And truly, honestly, like, outside of, like, this is what I mean, dude. Chastain is so, the man is wild. Like, his race at Darlington, 31 fast laps and 93 laps led. If he doesn't go full orangutan, he destroys the field. Like, it's so stupid. I don't understand what is going through that guy's brain. I just don't understand it. But these 5 guys are your lap leaders that you should try and target. I understand they are the most expensive guys, but there are 400 laps in this race. Getting 3 of these guys leaves you on average around $6,400. So it should be very easy for you to get to them, especially the fact that we have the salary back at $4,700 at the very bottom of the salary. We have a lot of good, cheap drivers in the 5K range this weekend. You should absolutely have 3 of these drivers in your lineup. Okay, now, once we get to qualifying, because we will have qualifying clearly. Also, we have a lot of rain this weekend. We might run this motherfucker on Monday. Keep that in mind. But who else is being fast? So now at this point, I'm going to highlight all these drivers in terms of, I'm going to highlight them all purple here. Take that off. So these are your main lap leaders that you should absolutely target, okay? All right? Have I made the case for him? I think I have. I don't think I need to stay on these guys very longer. So let's just imagine these guys aren't here. Who else is up here? Who else is being fast? Who else is showing his name quite a lot up here, okay? Well, right off the bat, it's 2 people that I see, okay? The first one being Bubba Wallace, okay? And the whole reason why I posted that little funny video of like, man, it'd be really cool to root for Bubba Wallace win, because I have never rooted for Bubba Wallace as he's won. Okay? I lost money at Talladega because it was rain shortened. NASCAR gave him the win. And I lost money when it won in Kansas because he was beating my driver. So I've never once rooted for a Bubba Wallace win. Okay? But look, we saw things at Kansas that should have pointed us to the fact that Bubba Wallace would be fast. Okay? And outside of the mistake that the pit crew made at Dover, okay, we need to really pay attention to what Bubba Wallace is doing here, okay? This man has been very fast. He has been very consistent. Where's Bubba Wallace at Dover? He has been here. Like, this man is here, okay? Seriously, take a look at this, okay? Darlington, yes, he starts top 5, but he gets there on qualifying speed. That's really good. Now, yes, he falls through the field, okay? He gets 10 fast laps before he gets that speeding penalty, not speeding penalty, before the crew has the bad pit issue, whatever the case may be, that forces him to start like 18th. He still gets 5 fast laps in the pack. Like, that is good to see. And having 15 fast laps total at Darlington, 3 laps led is good to see. Okay, that's just how it is. Okay, we look at Kansas, 15 fast laps again, 9 laps led. We look at Dover, 3 fast laps, 0 laps led. There's a good chance Bubba Wallace is going to get some fast laps here. And there's a good chance that we're seeing here that Bubba Wallace is probably going to have a top minimum 15 car, if not a top 10 car based on qualifying, based on where he's going to run. Okay, keep Bubba Wallace in your noggin, in your mind. $8,300 is a good price point for him. Let me make sure I'm still recording. Okay, cool. As we go ahead and continue to look through, we see Christopher Bell. Okay. And I got to find this boy here. We see Christopher Bell also being here, also being consistent. Okay. Yet again, kind of, same dance. But, and this is why I like Bubba Wallace, because Christopher Bell is $9,300. Bubba Wallace is $83. We get a huge discount on the Dr. Pepper boy, on the Dr. Pepper man of Bubba Wallace. Whereas Christopher Bell, last 2 races, Darlington, 6 fast laps, 0 laps led. Kansas, 9 fast laps, 3 laps led. Dover, 12 fast laps, 1 lap led. You're telling me that Bubba Wallace has had a faster car, has had a better fantasy day, has been better than Christopher Bell on every category the last 3 races? Yes, that's what I'm telling you, okay? But Christopher Bell's going to be there as well, which is why I wanted to highlight Bubba Wallace next and blah, 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 blah. Okay, and then at this point, it really is based on where people are qualifying. Do they have the speed to kind of bump their way up? We see Harvick being probably the second most consistent driver here, pretty much being the 10th place car in each race. That's just what he's coming in to be at. B, let me put that there. So we're seeing that Kevin Harvick is being consistent, and yada, yada, yada. And so at this point, these are your probably secondary guys that you would want to focus on. And I would kind of be kind of hesitant on Christopher Bell just based on the fact that I think Bubba Wallace is a much better play and a much better discount than what we're seeing. We're seeing that Keselowski had an off race at Kansas, but was up there at Dover, was up there at Darlington. That's what leaned us and leaned me to try and want to get to him at Darlington just because he qualified up front. Like, we can't really ignore what Keselowski is doing. That just where he is as well. We're seeing, I'll turn this guy's blue again, but I just want to highlight these guys so you can see where they're at. And then this is another reason why I'm personally not playing a ton of Ryan Blaney. I'm not playing a ton of Tyler Reddick. Maybe I should be playing some Tyler Reddick. I'm seeing this, okay, all right, Tyler Reddick is right up there. We're seeing Reddick kind of be there, but he's just kind of lacking a little. He's just kind of not there. He needs a lot of help to get past everybody I've already highlighted and stuff. But this is kind of showing us or showing you why I might be a little lighter on some people, why I might not be playing some guys, and yada, yada, yada. I think this is absolutely important for you to go through and look at, even if you're just looking at numerical indications from these drivers, or however you're ranking these drivers, you should absolutely be paying attention, like going through and looking at how these guys are doing. Okay, and so at this point, look, this is kind of the more expensive guys we're playing, yada, yada, yada. Let's talk about some value drivers, okay? Let's talk about how piss poor some of these guys have been performing down here, and so on and so forth. Who has been drivers that I've been wanting to target? Okay, and I mentioned that Haley and AJ have been seeing their prices go up. When you look at Justin Haley, his last race is 5,600, 6,800, 6,500, 6,100 this week. And AJ, last 3 intermediate races, 6,000, 61, 66, 63. Why is that? Why am I playing them? Because they've been starting in the back. They've had some place differential in there, and we have seen AJ Allmendinger be there. We have seen Justin Haley be there. We're seeing, and for me personally, and yeah, I mean, at this point, we're looking at 3 races, very similar to what these guys are doing. Like 33% of the time, you're going to have one of these guys fall the top 10. You're going to have some of these guys have off days, but look, for the most part, colleague is there, okay? And that's not huge. What is it? This isn't like wreck-induced, last week's finish. They're just having some off races. You look at Harrison Burton. You look at, let's go ahead and do this real fast. Hold on. All right, so let's just look for the value drivers, okay? Let's not, at this point, let's not focus on Dillon, Yaley, and McLeod. I'm looking at Gillen, Burton, Zane Smith isn't going to have data to support this stuff. Corey LaJoie, McDowell, Gregson, Haley, Allmendinger, Jones, Cindric, Almirola. Oh my God, I forgot Jimmy Johnson in this fucking race. Let's not worry about the 7K guys. Let's focus primarily on from $5,100 to, let's say, $63. Okay, so this is AJ. This is, let me change this color real fast. So this is AJ. I'll put him as red. God damn it. Put him as red. Let's look at Todd's squad. Okay, all right. Let's look at Harrison Burton. Okay, let's look at Corey LaJoie. I don't know why Corey LaJoie was so slow at Darlington. He had to hit that fucking long qualifying. That was insane. How slow he was. Michael McDowell. And you can't really see that. And Noah Gragson. All right, cool. So when we look at these guys here, which is your value range, you know, this is basically $5,100 to $63. This is how basically kind of how I kind of lean projections. And at least in my head, I understand who has a ceiling of what, who doesn't have a ceiling of what, blah blah blah. Recently, as of late, AJ has probably been the most consistent. Then it's been Michael McDowell, and then probably based on potential of ceiling, it's been Harrison Burton, Corey LaJoie. You can argue here and there. You can see that LaJoie's on a bit of a downswing. We can see now Darlington was weird because he hit the wall and at the end of qualifying. I'm not sure if they were able to fix it, whatever the case may be. He did, like Darlington for LaJoie was just an off race because he has been performing way better than normal. Harrison Burton, on the other hand, Darlington was an off race because he fucking almost won that motherfucker after everything, after all the restarts and yada 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 stuff like there. But for the most part, this is where people are, okay? Or at least be aware of how these guys are performing and stuff like that. I don't really want to play Gragson, okay? We see a lot of negativity in his upside. Not very much upside. Very rarely he's going to be like a top 28 driver. That's just how it is, you know? Just probably not going to see it a lot. Everybody else very much up in the air, but this is where optimal lineups are decided. You chase everybody that I've already blacked out, and in my opinion, you don't really chase. I mean, Kyle Busch, you can make arguments for. You can make arguments for Ryan Blaney, but I mean, sure. I mean, Blaney's there, but he's not really lead. Let's look at Blaney real fast, just because I know I have people asking. $8,400. Darlington, 18 fast laps, 4 laps led. Kansas, 0 fast laps, 0 laps led. Dover, 29 fast laps, 0 laps led. So you can argue that he's probably on the same plane as Bubba Wallace, and he's priced by him. So maybe you get to Ryan Blaney as like your fourth kind of lap leader type of situation there, or lap or fast lap getter. But for the most part, this is kind of where people are. Entering Charlotte, that's just how it is, you know. Entering Charlotte, this is where things are being made. So I would look here and then base it or take a look at how they're doing in practice, take a look at how they qualify, and take a look at their pit stalls to make bumps up or bumps down, because typically some of that can be based on how these guys run. Like LaJoie has had some really good pit stalls lately, at least earlier in these situations here. AJ Allmendinger would typically have somebody in front of him that would be a lap down, so he wouldn't have to worry about anything there. But this is pretty much how everybody back here is doing. There's not really a clear front runner. You understand what you're getting with every driver. You're understanding what you're getting with the salaries for each driver, and you try and find somebody who's mispriced. So in terms of mispriced, and in terms of somebody that I'm probably going to have a lot of, would probably be Todd Gilliland. Okay, low floor, okay, that's fine. Mid-tier ceiling, I think that's fine. But typically, I just want him to be, mid-20s. That's really all we need. Todd Gilliland, $5,100, probably going to have a lot of him. Harrison Burton, probably going to have a lot of Harrison Burton. I think everybody else will as well. I'm interested in seeing what Zane Smith can do in terms of what that car has. I might be more hesitant to play LaJoie. I might be more hesitant to play McDowell at this point. And I'm most likely not going to be playing Noah Gragson just because we're seeing how he's been running. But past that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the World 600 preview, the Coca-Cola 600 preview. I will see you in a live show on Sunday. Feel free to check out any other NASCAR DFS videos that I make following this one. And I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully this helps you out in some form or fashion. I'll see you guys later.